Next item on the agenda is the approval of the grant distribution formula. We have one speaker, Ann Murphy-Kline. Actually, you have two, and then that will be followed by Barbara Burke Fondreau.
Thank you. My name is Ann Murphy-Kline. I'm the president of the board and a parent of two children at New Community School, which is a charter school in Lafayette, Indiana. I understand that the parameters of the decision that you're making on the recommendations today are really set by statute and rule, and I'm not really here to try to convince you to change what those recommendations are. I understand that your lawyer has given great thought to trying to apply them flexibly, and I appreciate that approach to it. I'm here because I want you to better understand how those statutes and rules affect schools and communities and families like ours. And I want you to know our story so that you can help to make those statutes and rules and policies better in the future. New Community School is one of the original charter schools that opened in 2002, and we are one of the very few that remain from that cohort. And it's because of structural impediments that we have faced through that 10 years as a charter school. Some of those include inequitable funding and lack of facilities funding, and I see those things happening now, and that is wonderful. We are glad to see that you are taking action to improve that inequality between school fundings. However, if those continue to be based on the A to F grade system, you're intentionally destroying schools that don't deserve it, and this is why. New Community School, for example, is not a failing school. We are a small and progressive school, and both of those characteristics count against us in a single test accountability system. Being small, we currently have 212 students in K through 8. That means we have about 100 students who are in our testing cohort in grades 3 through 8. That means that every student we test has an inordinate impact on the result of that statistical formula that gets applied to us. For the 2013-14 school year, 3 students who had had a difference of a couple percentage points in their performance on that test would have made us a C. If we had received a C, we would be receiving an additional $75,000 today from this grant that would allow us to pay for 2 classrooms. Those 2 classrooms will be closed tonight at a family meeting at our school. All right. If our grade were calculated by elementary and middle school separately, we would also have received a C in our elementary program, and we would be able to qualify automatically for this grant funding. Because our grade is calculated K to 8, and that's not comparable to other schools, and because middle school is a performance issue, it's a performance issue statewide. If you look at school performance across the board, middle schools don't perform as well. That has hurt us. We're not going to close our middle school because they don't test well. We're going to make it better, and we're working really hard to do that. But we are also a progressive school. We're not a failing school, but we're not a quick fix, fast acting, get those test scores up kind of school. We believe in investing time in children's emotional and social commitment to being a learner. We believe that we need to build relationships, not just skills. We're like the slow food movement in education, right? We know it takes time for those kids to come around. And when we bring in kids who are burnt out and turned off by traditional classrooms, our first response to them is not to assess them and drill them to get them ready for the next round of testing. Our first response to them is to get to know them and to get to know their families and to rebuild their identity as a learner. That works, but it takes time. Our pass rate of students who have been at our school for 3 years or more is 87% in ELA. That's pretty good. We're not a failing school. We have 25% students in our school enrolled in special ed. They have been told in their lives that being different means failure. In our school, they're not different and they don't fail. They pass at 8% higher than the state average passing rate for special education. We are not failing those students. We are serving them. New Community School was consistently an A school up until 3 years ago. What happened to us was a direct result of not having facilities funding. In order to grow our school, we ended up in 3 separate buildings. And in order to finance our school, we had to do a whole bunch of gymnastics and begging and pleading with a construction company, and we finally got them to renovate an abandoned grocery store so that we could have a beautiful new facility. It's gorgeous. We love it. But making that change and having our sole focus on getting into that building and increasing our student count to be able to pay for that on our own out of our pupil funding meant that we had a huge loss of school culture. Oh, can I say one more thing? And that school culture loss affected our test scores, and we are still reeling from that hit. We need your support to be a truly different school. And as long as you base that support on a one-size-fits-all accountability system, you will be intentionally destroying the schools that are trying to provide for families who want to see a different experience for their children. We're not in competition with our local schools. We have outstanding local schools. And the fact that you're basing it on comparison to them is hard for me because I don't want to be compared to them. I want to be something completely different.
Thank you.